Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Deputy Speaker disallows BSP Chief's notice under Rule 267 to discuss malfunctioning EVMs, urges party to take up issue during discussion on electoral reforms on Wednesday. Supreme Court calls for an out-of-court settlement of the Ayodhya temple dispute, calls it a sensitive matter that concerns religion and sentiments. Apex Court asks Centre why it changed its stance on allowing demonetized note deposits till March 31st. Seeks explanation on why window was given only to NRIs and Indians travelling abroad. And newly appointed Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath meets Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP Chief Amit Shah, discusses portfolios of 47 state ministers. Well, continuing her tirade against alleged EVM tampering in the recently concluded UP elections, BSP Chief Mayawati brought up the issue in the Rajya Sabha on Tuesday. She demanded that a legislation be passed in the current session of Parliament to scrap the use of EVMs. But the government rubbished all the allegations and urged the BSP leader to respect the people's mandate.
The BSP tendered a notice under Rule 267 seeking suspension of business to take up the discussion on the use of EVMs in elections in the upper house. Questioning their accuracy, party chief Mayawati claimed EVMs are undermining democracy. She recalled that when the Congress was in power, the BJP had raised doubts on them and had even sought bringing back ballot papers.
आप जरा सुनिए, मेरे को जरा सुनिए, मेरे को जरा सुनिए, no, there is, मेरे को, no, please listen to me, no, please listen to me. No.
The government was quick to rebut the allegations. It pointed out that the Election Commission had upheld the reliability of the EVMs.
भारत के चुनाव आयोग की प्रशंसा पूरी दुनिया में हो रही है। उन्होंने बार-बार आश्वस्त किया है कि ईवीएम टेक्नोलॉजिकली कंप्लीटली परफेक्ट है। तो आज जब हारे हैं, इतनी बुरी तरह से हारे हैं, वो 7 हो गए हैं, ये 19 हो गई है, वो 45 हो गए हैं।
The chair also rejected the BSP's notice and urged the party to take up the issue during discussion on electoral reforms on Wednesday.
The members, that a discussion is slated for tomorrow. A discussion on electoral reforms is already slated for tomorrow, and that will take care of all these points. Therefore, no need of a discussion now.
The Supreme Court is scheduled to hear a case related to EVM tampering on March 24th after a public interest litigation was filed on Tuesday. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Rajya Sabha members across parties expressed concern over the consumption of spurious medicines by couples in the quest for a male child. BJP MP Vinay Sahasrabudhe said that the use of such medicines is leading to defective genitals in children.
Raising the issue during 0 hour, BJP MP Vinay P. Sahasrabudhe claimed that out of 100 babies born with genital deformity, only 3 are due to natural causes. The rest, he said, are due to medicines consumed to ensure the birth of a male child. He said that such children are often abandoned or handed over to the transgender community. Members cutting across party lines and the chair urged the government to take a serious note of the matter.
We are yet to overcome the traditional social mindset of preferring male child over female. This mindset leads many couples, especially in rural areas, to consume medicines in their quest for a male child, and what happens in the process is havoc with the unborn child.
I agree with you. Government should take serious note of this. Honorable Health Minister is here because this furious illegal method being practiced. Yes. We'll look into it. Yeah, do something.
Sharad Yadav of the JDU raised the issue of declining the allocation to Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan to universalize primary education. Tiruchi Shiva raised the issue of Tamil fishermen languishing in foreign prisons.
लगातार यदि आप देखेंगे तो इस मामले में बजट जो है वो जो शिक्षा मंत्रालय मांगता है 2015-16 में 36,331 करोड़ रुपए डिमांड किया गया, मिला 28,258 करोड़ रुपए, यानी 22% कम कर दिया।
They were arrested on August 6th, followed by the Bahrain-based group on October 22nd, and finally the group from Dubai in January this year, sir. Sir, after spending a few days in jail, they
must get remunerative price.
The delay in recruitment in government institutions and in the completion of AIIMS Patna also found resonance in the upper house during 0 hour. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the government has undertaken investigations against every Indian who had undisclosed accounts with HSBC, and prosecutions have already been launched. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley informed the upper house that the centre had recently renegotiated its double taxation avoidance pacts with Mauritius, Singapore and Cyprus and plugged loopholes in tax treaties.
Minister, you've asked your question now.
Responding to supplementaries during question hour, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley apprised the House that information of 628 Indian persons holding bank accounts in HSBC Bank in Switzerland was obtained, and all the cases have been investigated. Assessments have been made in 409 cases and 119 prosecutions have been filed.
And all those accounts, assessments have been completed in 409 cases. Of these 409 cases, Rupees 8,437 has been assessed and 190 prosecutions have been filed, and therefore no one member of this House should be under the impression that every other section of this House is not serious as far as pursuing these cases are concerned.
In a reply to another query, Minister of State for Defence Subhash Bhamre said the government had approved the introduction of online entrance examination in the army in Ambala, Chennai and Jaipur on a pilot basis to prevent paper leakage.
Exam thi common entrance test, soldier general duty, soldier technical, soldier clerk, soldier tradesman 10th pass and soldier tradesman 8th pass. इसके एग्जाम 26 को होनी थी और क्राइम ब्रांच थाने पुलिस रिसीव द टिप ऑफ कि देयर इज अ सोर्स that there was going to be likely a leakage of the question paper on the night of 25th February.
Questions were also raised on certification program of accredited social health activists and remedial steps to curb the maternal mortality rate. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, describing the Ram Mandir dispute as a sensitive and sentimental issue, the Supreme Court today asked the involved parties to settle the matter out of court through negotiations. The apex court's suggestion comes after BJP leader and Rajya Sabha MP Subramanian Swamy sought an urgent hearing on the Ayodhya dispute. Here's a report. The Supreme Court said all parties should make fresh attempts to resolve the Ayodhya temple dispute through negotiations. Calling it a sensitive and sentimental matter, a bench headed by Chief Justice J.S. Keher said, and I quote, "These are issues of religion and sentiments. These are issues where all the parties can sit together and arrive at a consensual decision to end the dispute. If the parties want me to sit with mediators chosen by both the sides for negotiations, I am ready to take up the task." The top court also said that it may also appoint a principal negotiator. The BJP welcomed the suggestion for an out-of-court settlement of the dispute.
समझता हूं कि हमेशा हमारी पार्टी ने भी इसी विषय को रखा है, हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी ने भी इसी विषय को रखा है, सरकार ने भी, कि राम मंदिर का मुद्दा या तो संवैधानिक ढांचे के अंदर या सहमति के माध्यम से बने, और मैं समझता हूं उच्चतम न्यायालय ने बहुत अच्छा सुझाव दिया है।
माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो कहा है कि ये विवाद कोर्ट के बाहर भी सुलझ सकता है, ये हमारे भारतीय संविधान में इसको मान्यता है, और इसलिए इस दृष्टि से जमीन किसकी है इस बात को बाहर बैठ करके सुलझाया जा सकता है, और जिसकी भी जमीन हो अगर वो साबित हो जाए तो वो रामलला के लिए अपनी जमीन भेंट कर दे, इससे बड़ी गिफ्ट और कोई हो नहीं सकती।
The RSS also welcomed the court's observation, saying that the dispute should be resolved at the earliest.
At the earliest, this issue should be settled and a grand temple should be erected by the total involvement of all Indians.
The court's observations came after BJP leader Subramanian Swamy sought an urgent hearing of the issue. Swamy said it has been over 6 years and the matter needed to be heard at the earliest. The opposition, however, wanted the court to resolve the issue.
ये मुद्दा इतना संवेदनशील है कि माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट को इस पे पहल करना चाहिए, क्योंकि मुझे इस बात का संशय और डर है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के महंत आदित्यनाथ, जो कि अब मुख्यमंत्री बन चुके हैं, वे किस रास्ते पर जाते हैं, ये हमारे सबके लिए चिंता का विषय है।
मैंने अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट हिचकिचा रहा है तो एक बार फिर कोशिश होनी चाहिए, इसमें कुछ भी बुरा नहीं है, और कोशिश लेकिन ईमानदारी पूर्वक होनी चाहिए, और कोई ऐसा पक्ष हो, सरकार तो नहीं लगता है कि वो ईमानदारी से प्रयास कर सकती है।
Muslim organizations were skeptical about the out-of-court settlement.
तो अब चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया खुद मीडिएट करें, हमें उन पर भरोसा है। वो कोई टीम नॉमिनेट करे सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजेस की, उन पर ही भरोसा है। वो हियरिंग करें, हम उसके लिए तैयार हैं। लेकिन आउट ऑफ कोर्ट सेटलमेंट के लिए वो हमसे कहेंगे तो हम नहीं जा सकते हैं, और वो इसके लिए कोई ऑर्डर पास करेंगे तो हम उस पर गौर करेंगे।
The Supreme Court bench asked Swamy to consult the parties and inform it about the decision on March 31st. The Allahabad High Court in its 2010 judgment ruled for a three-way division of the disputed area: Muslims, Hindus and Nirmohi Akhada, a Hindu group. On February 26, 2016, the Supreme Court permitted BJP leader Subramanian Swamy to intervene with his plea seeking construction of Ram Temple at the site of the disputed structure. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. And now correspondent Panchanan Mishra spoke with Minister of State for Law P.P. Chowdhury, who said that the Supreme Court's observation is a first step in the right direction and the government will be open to negotiations. Let's listen in.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो ये ऑब्जर्वेशन है कि आउट ऑफ कोर्ट सेटलमेंट हो जाए, क्या ये बहुत बड़ी बात है? ये
अगर नेगोशिएशन से दोनों पक्ष अगर कहते हैं कोई किसी कंक्लूजन पे पहुंचते हैं तो दोनों पक्ष उसमें हैप्पी रहते हैं, और अगर कोर्ट की वर्डिक्ट होती है तो एक पक्ष खुश रहता है, एक नाराज रहता है।
राम मंदिर पे बड़ी सियासत देखी है देश ने, कई दशक गुजर गए इस विवाद में, तो आपको लगता है कि अगर कोई भी एक पक्ष प्रस्ताव लेकर आता है नेगोशिएशन के लिए तो वो आगे बढ़ सकता है?
बिल्कुल बढ़ सकता है। कभी हम ये नहीं सोचते कि नेगोशिएशन के दरवाजे बंद हैं, हमेशा खुले रहते हैं और किसी स्टेज पे नेगोशिएशन हो सकता है। ये सोचना कि केस इतना पुराना है नेगोशिएशन नहीं हो सकता, मेरे मानने ये सोचना ही गलत है।
तो आपको लगता है कि एक बड़ा कदम सुलझाने की दिशा में उठ गया है?
बहुत बड़ा कदम उठ गया, और अगर ये हो जाता है तो एक मैं मानता हूँ कि ऐतिहासिक कदम होगा, और देश के विकास के लिए, देश में अमन चैन लाने के लिए अपने आप में एक बहुत।
सरकार की क्या भूमिका होने वाली है इसमें?
सरकार की भूमिका जो भी हमारे जो होगा नेगोशिएशन में, हम उसको एनकरेज कर सकते हैं नेगोशिएशन के लिए, वो पूरी भूमिका सरकार निभाएगी।
Well, newly appointed Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP Chief Amit Shah separately to discuss portfolios of 47 state ministers. The BJP leadership is set to face its first UP crisis with a tussle between the Chief Minister and his deputy Keshav Prasad Maurya over the important home portfolio. Chief Minister Adityanath is expected to take key ministries including education and health. Earlier, he called on Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. He also met Home Minister Rajnath Singh and discussed various issues concerning the state. The Home Minister assured the Chief Minister all help from the central government. Adityanath is also scheduled to meet President Pranab Mukherjee. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court on Tuesday asked the central government why it chose not to create a category of those who could not deposit demonetized notes by 30th December 2016, unlike the NRIs and people who were abroad. A bench headed by Chief Justice J.S. Kher asked the government to explain in an affidavit by April 11th why the window was given only to NRIs and Indians who travelled abroad and not to other citizens of the country. The bench also observed that when the Prime Minister had said that those with genuine difficulty to deposit demonetized notes by December 31st will get a chance till March 31st, then why is there a change in their stance now? Earlier this month, the court had issued notice to the centre and RBI seeking their response on a PIL. The petitioner has referred to the specified bank notes cessation of liabilities ordinance and said it had breached the assurance. Well, the Uttarakhand High Court has recognized the rivers Ganga and Yamuna as so-called living entities. The move guarantees the rivers legal rights normally enjoyed by citizens. The new status means if someone pollutes the rivers, the law will see it equal to harming a human being. The rivers will now be represented in courts by specially notified officials. The court also ordered the state government to form a Ganga Administration Board for cleaning and better maintenance of the river. Until now, New Zealand's Wanguni River was the only one in the world to be granted such rights. Earlier this month, the court came heavily down upon the Union and Uttarakhand state governments for doing nothing concrete to clean the rivers.
अभी 3 दिन पहले न्यूजीलैंड की संसद ने जो है जीवित पर्सन्स के राइट दिए थे, उसी तरह से आज माननीय न्यायालय ने गंगा को जीवित व्यक्ति के राइट देते हुए डायरेक्टर जनरल नमामि गंगे अथॉरिटी जो है और चीफ सेक्रेटरी और एडवोकेट जनरल उनको अधिकृत किया है कि गंगा के मामले में गंगा की तरफ से ओर से राइट टू सू और बी सूट ये दिया गया है.
But an estimated 63 million people have very little access to clean water in the country due to lack of government planning, competing demands, rising population and water draining agricultural practices. According to a latest report by Water Aid India, ensuring water security for the growing population is one of the main challenges in the country. More than 1/6 of the country's groundwater supply is currently being overused. The report also said that waterborne diseases like cholera, malaria and dengue will become more common and malnutrition more prevalent due to water crisis. It also warns about the implication of extreme weather events and climatic change for the world's poorest. India ranks in the top 38% of countries most vulnerable to climate change and least ready to adapt. With 67% of the country's population living in rural areas and 7% of the rural population even now living without access to clean water, India's rural poor are highly vulnerable to the effects of extreme weather events and climate change. Here's a roundup of the news from across the country and nationwide. The Sri Lankan Navy arrested 10 Indian fishermen for poaching in its territorial waters and seized their boat. The arrest came a day after the Sri Lankan government announced that authorities will continue arresting Indian fishermen if they do not stop illegal poaching. Talks to resolve the fishing dispute in a diplomatic manner will likely be held next month. The BJP has decided to field its MLA Pramod Sawant for the post of Goa Assembly Speaker. The legislator from Sankhali constituency in North Goa is being supported by the BJP MLAs and the party's alliance partners. Meanwhile, the Congress has nominated its MLA Alexo Reginaldo Lorenzo for the Speaker's post. The election will be held on Wednesday. Union Minister Ramvilas Paswan has said that a new Consumer Protection Act is in the works for stricter punishment for entities which put out misleading advertisements. The Parliamentary Standing Committee had suggested various changes to the Consumer Protection Bill 2015 and the government will be including them in the new bill. Paswan also said that hallmarking of gold will be made mandatory where the weight in grams as well as the company's name will be written. Kerala's Youth Congress leader C.R. Mahesh has said that Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi must make way for others if he does not want to lead the party. Mahesh, who lost to CPI's R. Ramachandran in the 2016 Assembly polls, noted that the party's state unit has been left abandoned as it was working without any president for the last 2 weeks. He also urged former Defence Minister A.K. Antony to break his silence on what's happening in the Congress in the state. Moving on, now India has agreed to share the designs of all hydroelectric projects on the Indus River with Pakistan. This will be in accordance with the Indus Water Treaty between the two countries. However, the status of India's ongoing projects on the Indus is not yet clear as Pakistan has raised objections. While Pakistan's Indus Water Commissioner Mirza Asif Beg has said that India would halt projects, there is no official word from the Indian side. The meeting of the India-Pakistan Indus Water Commission is taking place in Islamabad for the first time in 2 years. A meeting planned in September last year was cancelled due to the Uri terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir by Pakistan-based outfits. Meanwhile, in a rare move, the United States has initiated the process to revoke the citizenship of a Pakistani American involved in militancy in Kashmir. Ayman Faris, who became an American citizen in 1999, was convicted of conspiracy to provide material support to Al-Qaeda in 2003. He is presently serving a 20-year prison term on terrorism charges. Prosecutors allege that in his naturalization application, Faris concealed that he participated in militancy in Kashmir in the 1980s and was affiliated to the Harkat-ul-Jihadi al-Islami. The Department of Justice said that under the Immigration and Nationality Act, a naturalized U.S. citizen's citizenship may be revoked and his certificate of naturalization cancelled if it was illegally procured or procured by concealment of a material fact. This is the first case of withdrawing the citizenship of a naturalized American under the Trump administration. Here's a roundup of the other international news and global buzz. At least 23 people were killed and 45 others injured in a suicide car bombing in Baghdad. Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the attack. The group in an online statement said that a parked car bomb exploded in Amil district. ISIS has recently intensified its campaign of violence in the capital while a strong alliance of Iraqi forces extends its advances against the group in Mosul. US President Donald Trump met Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi at the White House. The two leaders agreed to pursue a long-term partnership to root out terrorism and strengthen the Iraqi military. Recognizing that terrorism cannot be defeated by military alone, both the countries also agreed to promote an extensive political and economic partnership. The US is providing air artillery and other support in the offensive. FBI Director James Comey confirmed for the first time that the agency was investigating alleged Russian interference in the 2016 US elections. However, Comey said his agency had seen no evidence to back up President Trump's claim that his phones had been tapped by the Obama administration. The Trump administration, on the other hand, said nothing had changed and there was no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. That's it on this newscast. Have a good evening.